Well, morning. If you check the time is 8:28 and today is 25th January 2015. I hope it will be short. There is something trending that's relating to Mr. Martin Amidu's request for Ayerge's call records. It's already taking heat on social media, on other platforms. People are kind of discussing it on radio everywhere, and I just want to add a bit of voice to that communication already going on. Now, I've already kind of done some publications on that. Let's kind of let me push this boy to this corner here, and then if you check on Facebook, I already have this. It's a bit lengthy though, but I think this was about 3 days ago. I did this. No, that was 23rd. I did it on 23rd. It's basically the same thing. I added my voice. I've also published it on Modern Ghana. How do I even get this? Let's hope this will bring it. Yes, I think that's it here. So this is it. And you can see the screenshot, the Facebook screenshot. So it's basically the same content with a bit of touches that I made on Modern Ghana. Now the whole thing is, I think we have to first of all define terms. What is call record? Martin Amidu is asking for call record. Let's get it straight away. Now, for example, call record. Let's say this morning I've called Mr. A, I've called Mr. B, I've called Mr. C, I've called Mr. D. Now I call Mr. A, let's say 7 o'clock, Mr. B 8 o'clock, Mr. C 9 o'clock, Mr. D 10 o'clock. Let's say for how long did I speak with Mr. A? I spoke with Mr. A, let's say 30 minutes, Mr. B 40 minutes, Mr. B 60 minutes, let's say Mr. Z, I spoke with him for 2 hours, like yeah, things like that. His number, the person I called, was it switch off, how many times did I call? Yeah, such informations constitute call records, which in the Communication Act that Martin made mention of, the section 103 call the call record log. Like, that is what the telecoms have. That is what the telecommunication companies have. Call records, the log of your call. And in technically you can call it I say, like in the data industry they call it metadata. Like, these are information describing the actual call you did, like who you call, as I've said earlier, maybe the person's name, when you call him, how long you speak to him or her, things like that is called the call record or the metadata. Now, the actual content, when you call, let's say Mr. A, you said, hello Mr. A, let's say, I'm gonna kill you tonight. Or let's say when you spoke with Mr. B, you told Mr. B, hey Mr. B, I'm not paying duties, I'm not gonna pay my VAT, I'm not doing this. And you say, oh, okay, that's fine, so you give me this money and then stop, don't pay it. This is the content of our call. Or let's say when I call Mr. C, Mr. C, I love you, I'll be coming to your house tonight, are you ready? This is the content of the call. Now, you can also call this a call record. That is just a word. You can call it a call record. So we need that clarification. Which one is Martin Amidu talking about? Is it who Ayerga called, when he called him, how many times they spoke, or he wants the actual communication if Ayerga did with that Mr. X, that's if in case he did that call. Now, And these are two things. The actual conversation he did, the hello, I love you, no telecommunication company has it. No telecommunication company has a legal right to record a citizen's content. No telco, and it's not just Ghana, worldwide, no telco has that legal right to record a citizen's actual conversation unless they were pre-told to. Unless they were pre-told. So let's say in the request letter, Martin Amidu is asking for, I think, December 1st to January 6th records. So if by that record he means the actual conversation, then that means he has gotten the security permit or the court permit to pre-inform MTN before that phase. Let's please get this clear. That means he has already submitted a letter to MTN before that phase of December to inform MTN to record. If there is that law or like that authority, then MTN has no option, because these are things of national interest. So they will have to do that record, or whichever company, or if it's not in Ghana, whichever company, and there is that thing of national interest, then they can be told to do the recording. That is when they will start the recording. By default, they are not recording anyone, and they have no legal right to record anyone's hello world. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's not done anywhere to be recording. All those doing it, it's like it's illegal. So you have to keep your records illegally and do whatever illegal thing you want to do with it. If you take, let's say a precedent like what happened in US, the Snowden leak, the prison project, the recordings were going on, but it was illegal, and it wasn't like everybody. They were picking leads, like suspected people were recording and things like that. That is, and when it came out, if you've been following the Snowden issue, you realize how US government was hot globally, very hot, for that prison project they were doing, which like the citizens weren't aware of. So legally you have no right to do that, but behind the scenes, if you are doing your dirty work and you are recording, that one is up to you, and you dare not come on that I'm doing it. And if you produce this video the audio recording of Ayarga or anybody's conversation without that pre-notice to, then MTN will be in trouble, or whichever company produces that data will be in trouble. So basically that is how the whole thing is. We have to split between the two. Which record is Ayaga as Martin Amidu asking for? If it's that metadata, who he called, when he called, how long they spoke, the person's name and those things, fine. Then that one, if you have the legal right or like the legal permit, you can ask the telecos to provide that. But for the actual content, no, you don't. And the whole thing is not like MTN will not provide it. If let's say Ayaga is asking for the audio, it's not like MTN will not provide it. Let's get this straight. They don't have it. They don't have it. A typical example is the Apple FBI debate, the issue that came out between Apple and then the FBI. I think that was somewhere December 2015 thereabout. So around February, Apple brought a serious letter that is addressed to the FBI. In short, what they said is, you are asking for something that doesn't exist. So how are they going to produce it? And it was about producing like asking for backdoor in iPhones. That is what they were asking. I said, really, there's nothing like that. We don't have backdoor in, and you're saying them put it there in your release an OS with a backdoor. They said no, you don't do that one. So it's one of the best way to kind of secure system, just not to have the information, and that's you are safe. Whether you are arrested, you go to MTN, you splash their machines, you split them, whatever you do, they just don't have the audio. That is it. So that is how our informations are treated. So Unless MTN violated, then you should be guaranteed that nobody is recording our conversation. Feel free to tell those you love them. Feel free to do your deal. But if it become of national interest, then they will be told to start recording you. Then in that case, they will have that audio. Other than that, it's just the call, the metadata, or like the which in the communications act they call log, like call log. So they can have that log, and it's stated specifically things they have to keep on their machines, and for how long. I think it's for 12 months or so, something like that. If the act is on the Ministry of Communication, their website, if you trace it, you will see it. My article on modern Ghana too, I made reference to that. Yeah, another angle of the whole thing is like companies don't, or like the telecoms don't record our conversations because it doesn't make sense business wise. I talk about this also on my page. It doesn't make sense. Now take a typical example. Let's say MTN has 1 million customers. Everybody makes, let's say, 5 minutes call, like 5 minutes call a day. Now multiply that. Now 5 minutes call, if you want to save like a quality MP3 of 5 minutes, that should be roughly the same 5 megabytes. So every day your customers, you'll be saving 5 megabytes data. That's every day. Let's say for 1 million. These are rough figures I'm using. And people don't make 5 minutes call. Others make like 120 minutes, which is like 2 hours a day. Others make 3 hours a day. There are people like always on phone. So just imagine if MTN decide to like go about recording everybody. Now if we do the multiplication of 5 megabytes by, let's say, 1 million people, and you kind of compare with the charging, let's say they have to show it on Amazon Cloud, the cost they'll be incurring for people saying I love you is it doesn't make sense business wise. So even if like it doesn't, there's no interest in saving those costs unless like that's assuming they even want to do it illegally. Assuming they want to do it illegally, it doesn't make sense because it's very costly if you have to record every call everybody makes and then be saving it. So even from the business angle, they are pushed not to record because it's heavy. It's kind of it will cost them if they want to save those things on their machine. So that's even the another side of the whole show. So basically that is it. We have to define the terms like I said earlier, which if Martin really says call records, what does he actually mean? Is it the actual audio communication or just information about that audio, like when he called the person, who he called, how long they talk, and that what they said? You can get that, you can get all those things, but not what they said. So basically that is the two distinctions if you talk of call records. By order of court, or let's say police investigation, he can get the call log or like the metadata, when he called, who he called, what time, how long they spoke, and things like that. By court order or police or whatever legal means, he can ask for that. But for the content, like what they spoke, if even there is court order and you go to MTN, the information doesn't exist, so you don't get it. Even if there is court order and you go there, the information doesn't exist, so you won't find it unless there was initial court order telling MTN to do the recording, or like from whichever security department telling MTN to do the recording. In that case, when this court order comes, you can have it. Other than that, the telecoms, they are not recording, and even if they have the intention to do it behind the scenes, still it doesn't make sense. Like I've done the little calculation here with 5 minutes. It really costs if you want to save these things in the cloud, and like saving redundant ones, and it's not easy. So basically that is all it is about this Ibam to borrow this whole brouhaha. So basically that is That is it. They don't do it, so let's feel safe to kind of see. Let's feel that safe. It's interesting. Let's see how things roll out. First, like I said, we have to know what Martin Amido is asking for first, and then we can pick it from there. But just get that assurance that for your core, the content of your core, what you are saying, they don't have it, and no telco has it. And if you take, for example, if you call their customer line, right, when you call, they will tell you we will record this for a quality purpose to enhance their customer experience. That one you are told, and you know why you have to speak there. You are told first. So behind the scenes, no one has a legal right to record. And if Martin goes there and MTN is able to provide that, then meaning they were pre-told by the security agencies or whichever party is interested to start recording. That was why they recorded. Other than that, they are not supposed to get the actual content of I guess, or whichever citizen. We shouldn't look at this in the context of like Mahama Ijariga. No, we should look at it from the national interest. If you are there and someone is just recording your conversation, hey, you are not safe. That means like there are bigger analysis around. that is basically what it is. Imagine an ass going around installing cameras everywhere. That would be crazy. There has to be that lead or like that things of national interest. Then you become like a suspect. In that case, like the security agencies can give that permit for you, like those things to happen. Other than that, no, we are all safe. We should feel safe for calls we make. No one is recording us. So until we get that clarification, then we can pick it more. So bye for now. Anything at all, just let's link up on Facebook, like whatever you want us to discuss. I think if you search me by this name, you will get it, or just facebook.com and then you slash it with Digitize Ghana. These are some stupid things they normally add to our URL. So just see he's back. So it just this slash Digitize Ghana, or just search by the name Kaunda Ibn Ahmed, and that's it. Let's link up, or if it's number 02 yes, that is where we can get to. It's MTN, it's global, it's ported to MTN. So okay, bye.